Screen Time Continuum is here. How you guys all doing? Welcome to this beautiful Sunday evening, and I'm going to start us off tonight. As you guys can see, I am here with the awesome Nick and Keenan. How you guys doing?
What's going on, man? Happy Sunday.
Great Sunday. Great Sunday.
Fun day. So I'm starting off tonight because tonight is my long-awaited pick for tonight's movie discussion. And tonight we are discussing the 2011 movie starring Ryan Gosling, Drive. And let's see what other big name actors in here.
Oscar Isaac.
Bryan Cranston. Who was that?
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac, yeah. Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman, and
yeah.
I kind of want to talk about the others, but I mean, they're probably famous in their own means. We got Albert Brooks. Who else we got? We got Christina Hendricks and Carrie Magellan. What is that? Magellan? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I tried earlier in my head and I couldn't figure it out, so I wasn't gonna.
I'm not alone, so that's a good thing. And I mean, I don't know about the last three actors, but the last Carrie, I only remember her or know her from. Besides, this movie was the remake of the last iteration of The Great Gatsby with Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio.
I remember that.
So I guess let's dive into this bad boy. Geez, who wants to go first on what they thought?
I'll go ahead.
Or you want to do? Okay, no problem. Well, let's see. I was thinking to myself when we watched this is the first time I actually seen it the entire way through. I think I've seen the opening scene probably about 5 or 6 times and then just never continued watching it for whatever reason. So this is the first time I actually sat through and saw the whole thing. I will say that there is a sweet spot in 2000s film, and I feel like it's between 2004 and 2012. And like that era was like where all the really good movies were coming out. And I think I would lump this into that sort of collection of films. I'm thinking of films like There Will Be Blood, The Dark Knight. We had Eternal Sunshine. That was kind of like the beginning of it. There's tons of movies. Iron Man, of course. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but seriously, it was kind of a golden age for movie going. And this definitely reminds me of why I enjoy that span of cinema so much. And it's great. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good storytelling. Just my first impressions off the bat. This is a story that doesn't have to tell you shit. And it just lets you watch the movie and figure it out, because the film is actually telling you a story instead of having exposition all over the place. So I really enjoyed that. And I could get into deeper stuff, but my first impressions, very much enjoyed.
Nice. I can honestly say my first impressions, it took me a minute to remind myself this movie is about a decade old already. And once I took myself back to what movies were like back then, as Nick was just saying, I enjoyed it a lot more. There is a level of art to film, and there's also a difference between movies and film, which we could discuss later. But this definitely falls into the film circle. And something I thought was interesting, it gave me that. Now, Nick, I like how you found that timeline 2004 to 2012, because I was thinking kind of 2003 to 2009. So we're in the same ballpark, right?
Pretty close.
I lumped it in with Crash and that one movie. I think it's called Derailed with DiCaprio and Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon. I can't remember. I always remember the exact movie. Departed. Thank you. The Departed.
That was 2010. Yeah.
And it's in that
it's
box.
in that sweet spot. Yep.
And it also gave me that, like, I think, I know I text to the group to you guys and I had to ask them, like, what the fuck is this, a silent film? Like, what are we doing? And that was that moment where I had to really stop and remember, like, no, they're not just throwing this cool stuff at you, like they're putting the art with the story And then remembering that this is based on a book as well, like there's a real story to tell. And like you said, Nick, the story is not necessarily told with words. So I loved all of that. And at the same time, it was a bit annoying because it's been so long since we've gotten that my brain was kind of like, I was almost relieved, but at the same time pissed off that I had to think so hard in the moment.
Right. It's the movie of pregnant pauses. Long pregnant pauses.
Long pregnant pauses. But for sure. What about you, Dejan? How did you feel? Now, I know this isn't your first time. How many times have you seen this movie? Let's start with that.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I don't know because it's funny because this whole idea is that you know, the movies we do pick, you know, is basically like what's available to us, you know. And these are one of those things where I was like, hey, you guys don't worry about it, because I sincerely bought it several times on so many different platforms. Forgetting. So I'm gonna say I just lost count. There's a handful of movies in my library that I really do enjoy, and I watch countless to try to always gain something from or draw inspiration from, you know, from my own creative feel of things. And this one definitely does it. To tell you the truth, all that, I'm just going to say this movie was a sad attempt at a creative, edgy, artsy-fartsy film with Ryan Gosling being autistic. I'm fucking with you guys. That's just me reading something. That's a review, a 1-star review I read.
That's a review. Oh, nice.
I mean, hey, listen, that side of me I was just talking about, how it's like the love and the hate. The hate side of me totally understands what they're talking about. Totally understands.
Oh yeah. Well, and if you guys are annoyed, or anybody in the audience is annoyed at the silence in this film, you should not watch the follow-up to this film, Nicolas Winding Refn's Only God Forgives, because that is even less talking, and it's actually pretty gory too. Honestly, I was listening because I've seen Only God Forgives, and after seeing Drive, they're almost like they're almost kind of like distant sequels to each other.
Wow.
Because Ryan Gosling's character is in Thailand, and it's this whole thing that happens in Thailand, but it's the same director, same actor, and it's very similar.
Same lack of backstory.
Same lack of backstory. Same sort of like everything happens in a couple days.
You could have got me to watch it if you had said there was a backstory. I'm just going.
No, but it's crazy. But yeah, that's another great film.
That's interesting you say that, because I was looking at that when I was looking up, like, make sure I had the correct list of actors that was in this movie. I did see that movie. I was like, I wonder what that is, because me personally, I do like, sincerely, I fell in love with Ryan Gosling as an actor from this movie versus what everybody falls in love with.
The Notebook.
What The Notebook.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I want to watch that.
Yeah, I think that's why everybody called for Gosling.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, for me, it was Remember the Titans, but
I forgot he was in that movie. He was great in that movie. He was Sunshine.
Great. Yeah,
I think he was Sunshine.
No, he was the other one. He was the QB that had the rich dad. That he got pulled out of the game because he sucked. Yeah.
You just made me think, though, not to cut you off, Nick. What the hell happened to the actor that played Sunshine and Remember the Titans? Like, he had the role that definitely would have made you think that actor was going somewhere, and maybe he did, and just not, maybe more under the radar than we're aware.
Well, it's just one of those things.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things, and I didn't even know that Ryan Gosling was basically a Disney Channel kid.
He's a Mouseketeer.
Yeah,
I heard that, but I didn't know that.
He was best friends with it's either Just or Timberlake. Yeah.
Or Lance Bass. Which one?
Well, either one. But yeah, this movie's pretty darn good. I enjoyed a lot of the aspects to it. The minimalism was really nice. Again, kind of the way that the movie tells the story instead of having it to be told to you. Many pregnant pauses, but I think the cinematography is great too. That first 15 minutes are just so good. Oh man, it's so good at just like holding tension. And I think it's good too that Ryan Gosling is so silent because it makes the situation more tense.
Mhm.
You know, instead of him just babbling and trying to crack a joke. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Which was nice.
You didn't want to hear that accent the whole movie?
I don't know what that is. It's like a Baltimore accent or something, like Boston accent.
Something in there. Yeah.
My wife was saying the same thing. She was like, "What kind of accent is that?" I'm like, "Is he American?" I'm like, to find out. I'm like, this dude is Canadian / English.
The character?
Ryan Gosling.
Oh, Gosling. Yeah. Gosling. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, in every movie, he's attempting some type of an accent.
I think he had to do this movie and Only God Forgives because after the Notebook. No, just because after the Notebook, he was probably like, I need to wash this off of me. I need to have a couple movies where I don't
do that.
speak.
Don't do that. But now that part, yes, maybe because oh my God, like for real, 3 hours of non-stop blah 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 blah. Rose, Rose, Rose. Let me tell you, Rose and Rose and Rose. Anyway, sorry, not going. I actually like the Notebook
every day.
Sorry, like, I'm in the rain. I'm in the rain with him right now. Y'all stop.
You guys are discouraging me, man.
No, it's a great. I love that movie. Listen, I will say on camera, on record, I love the Notebook, and I've seen it multiple times. However, I can understand what you're saying. When you think about the Notebook, and if these came right after that, you might have just hit that on the nail, Nick.
And that's in the window too, man. 2004, the Notebook. I'm telling you, there's something about that sweet spot.
That's definitely like one of the catalysts to the window. You can't. I don't care what anybody says. That movie inspired so much film writing. It's like there's no way you're a film writer. You saw that flick. You had a contract somewhere, and you didn't go to work that week and put out some of your best, attempts at scenes.
Totally.
Now that's encouragement. Now maybe I might go see it or watch it.
It's great. It's definitely great. If you like Benjamin Button, you'll like the Notebook.
I love Benjamin Button. Yeah, I love the iterate. I love the short story for what it was, and it's one of my favorite writers, F. Scott Fitzgerald. But I love that movie. Sorry. Yeah. So I mean, I never did tell you guys. So yeah, I love this movie. Wow, 2000. I'm sounding like Owen Wilson now. 2011. That year, I can't complain. That year was a lot of unexpected movies I went to go see, and I sincerely enjoyed them. And I think between it was this movie and 50-50, I sincerely enjoyed. What was 50-50 with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Anna Kendrick was in it too as well.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and I just love this movie because in so many weird ways from where I was going in my life in that year and what I was dealing with, there was a lot to relate. And I think in some shape or form, you kind of can relate to this character. And interesting enough, what Keenan said, that this was a book. And I didn't know it was a book until I sincerely watched it again for tonight's podcast. And I was like, holy shit, this was a book, because I did remember a sequel graphic novel-wise. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not reading that shit. And I read more and more on the sequel. I forgot what the sequel was called, but just reading the whole premise of it, it was just terrible. So I'm hoping like hell. When you said, what was the movie? God Forgives?
Only God Forgives.
Only God Forgives. I'm like, I hope not. But it seems like that guy who directed this, I forget his name.
Nicolas Winding Refn.
And it seems like with that theme of that movie you're describing with God Forgives, it seems like that's his thing. Like he loves to do that.
Yeah, he's a high aesthetic sort of director. So if you like the aesthetics of Drive, you'll like the aesthetics of Only God Forgives too. But it's very similar.
The only issue I have with that is if you're so into aesthetics, don't have little things like, I don't know, all of your traffic coming from one direction in your park scene. And is that the craft station right there? Why is everybody walking right there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is that as LA natives, You would be able to poke. You'd be able to, poke things out
Poke
of
holes in it. Yeah.
You poke holes in it because you're like, oh, that doesn't happen, and
No.
I mean, the whole movie is an ode to Los Angeles,
Right.
And,
Walking through Echo Park, like, come on.
mhm. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. You no Clipper game is that crowded afterwards.
No.
Bruh, you took it. I was holding that until we got to the scenes and we started going that way. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, wait, this was 2011, which means this movie would have been based on this was like 2009. This happened. A Clipper game? Liars.
And I'm thinking
Like,
like,
they could have done like a LA King hockey game or something. I would have believed that. Do MLS. Give me a Galaxy game when Beckham was on the squad, even though he was like, what, 72 or something? Give me
Why don't
those.
they just make it a Laker game?
Because no, I'm pretty sure
They probably
couldn't
couldn't
make
get the
it no Laker.
licensing. They probably couldn't afford the licensing.
In 2011, we had just come off a ring run. Then there's no way they would have been able to use the Lakers game.
That's true.
That was probably the only game on the radio.
Okay. And also that I had to listen back after I realized it was a Clipper game because I couldn't figure out what kind of a game that he was listening to. At first, I thought
because he was calling it like a baseball.
Right. At first, I thought it was horse racing. Then I thought it was baseball, and I was like, "Why is okay? It's a baseball game." But he was. I kept noticing in the beginning of the movie as they're winding down, and he's telling the guys what needs to be done. You keep seeing flashes of the Staples Center, the Convention Center, every little thing in downtown around that Olympic and Figueroa area. Everything except the backside of Staples, actually. So like everything that the city owns. So in that moment, I'm like, dang, they keep like, all right, this is gonna be heavy LA movie. And then you get to that scene with the Clippers game letting out, and it's like all of that just so he can pull up in there and let the guys out, or so he could pull up in there and get away from the cops using that kind of traffic. But then you bump into the cop as you're covering your face and you're wearing a New York hat. You're not wearing a Clipper hat walking out of a Clipper game.
My New York might have been the other team.
You might be right
because and to be honest, the people that were already in the lot were spillovers or people probably left because their team had already basically lost the game.
That's people like how that works,
Yeah. And so like the people who leave early are usually the ones whose team is losing.
That might have been a little more thought through than I thought. Good. I like what you did there. I like what you
maybe.
You look at it this way. No one's not going to do like what I did when Boston went to the World Series with the Dodgers while I was wearing my Boston hat. You're not going to have people trying to fight you over a Clippers hat or a New York hat because seeing the Clippers lost.
You did that at a Dodger game?
Oh, I did that the whole time.
Do you know what city you live in?
And you know what? I had so many people wanted to fight me.
I know you did. I'm like, I value you, my friend. Can you not?
And you know, a lot of people told me I had balls, and there was a lot of people who wanted to fight me, but they decided, hey, he got a kid, and I tell them in their face, "You stupid to get fucked up for a hat." My best experience is going to a family friend restaurant. Everybody watching me, and they're looking like they want to talk shit. And the only thing they can tell me is, "That was a good game, right?"
Boston sucks.
But that's the thing. But long story short, let's get back to the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that opening scene was really incredible. It definitely hooked me. I definitely got the. I love the suspense of it. Just as like you got the cop car on the other side of the light, and he's listening to the monitor. He can tell exactly when they're coming after him. Then you got the helicopter over the bridge. That really tense.
Super tense. I also thought the toothpick was going to get him caught when he handed the toothpick off to the kid. It's like, oh, the toothpick.
It's like some 1930s hoodlum thing. Hey kid, you want a toothpick?
Right. And quick. So before we even let's talk about this, because we're gonna talk about everything through it, like Irene and Shannon, and who is the driver doesn't even have a name.
It's just driver. His name is, I think, in the credits, it's driver. Oh, it's the kid? Oh, okay.
Well, that's what Bryan Cranston's character called him.
That's it. He's either a driver
In the
or the
subtitles,
kid
it's driver. Yeah,
Weirdly enough,
or the neighbor.
or the neighbor.
you would have to. Oh man, when that killed it for me when I started investigating the books, and I'm like, they gave him a name.
Oh, in the books, he has a name.
He has a name, and I'm like, ugh. I'm like, you know what? It's like watching Fight Club. I don't need to know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know anymore. I enjoyed this shit.
The mysterious protagonist. That's always good. Yeah, and I think sometimes there's a story for a silent protagonist like that. I don't think I know any other movies except for silent films, Chaplin and stuff like that. But I don't know if I know modern films that have done that sort of take where they've made the protagonist on nearly silent.
No Country for Old Men.
Oh,
that's pretty good. Anton Sugar didn't really speak a whole lot. Yeah, and that's within that window too, man.
Yeah, that was in that window for sure. Sling Blade, I think Sling Blade was right before the window though. That was like late 90s, early 2000s. Sling Blade though kind of falls into that same category. I would dare to say Green Mile maybe.
But he did a lot of talking, didn't he?
At the end, the entire movie is pretty much everybody else talking except for Michael Clarke Duncan's character, and then at the end he kind of gives his account of everything, and not really it's kind of difficult to explain. You got to see the movie because it's like they tell the story but he's really not telling it, but he's kind of telling. It's weird. But I agree with you, like there's not a lot, especially in that window. I believe there was so much of a thrill for the risky dialogue. There was so
risky
much
storytelling.
Yeah, risky storytelling as well, right? There was so there was a lot of things that you dare not say, but you would say it in different ways, and they would kind of find ways to say things that they shouldn't. I think that is something that made a lot of the movies between that window that we're discussing a lot better as well, because right before that, you either had like your extremely raunchy out of the market movies that you would never catch in theaters, or you'd have like movies that you'd only go see in theaters simply because everyone else saw it, but you wouldn't watch that shit by yourself.
Yeah. I think I think that this is kind of coming out of the mega blockbuster phase of the late 90s, early 2000s, and into the more of like the experimental art house phase, where a lot of the movies were starting to get a little bit weird. They were starting to get strange with the storytelling. We had hit this level where we were just tired of blockbuster movies that just kept coming every summer, and I think we wanted some kind of more strange storytelling. So I think I like that, and I think with Nicolas Winding Refn and Drive and a couple other movies that he's done, he does minimalism really well. I noticed that also the soundtrack to Drive, there's only 6 songs.
Oh wow!
And most soundtracks usually have like 24 songs or something like that.
Soundtracks are usually longer than a movie.
Or just
right.
straight up.
Yeah. But yeah, they only have 6 songs in the soundtrack, and I think that really helps solidify it as well. There's something about the minimalism that's appealing, I think, in the lack of words, the very long shots of pauses and letting the camera tell the story more than the actors.
The consistent smirks from Ryan Gosling. Like I think a few of the smirks just didn't make sense. Bro. It's like, all right, I'll punch you.
The only reason
I'm watching the movie.
Exactly. The only reason he was allowed to be anything like that is because he's good looking. If he wasn't good looking, they would call the cops on him immediately. Man, the neighbor would be so like, you are creeping me out.
Yes,
that was the deception of that movie.
I was automatically sitting there like, all right, look. So in my notes, I have it here. It's like, he's a driver. We're like, okay, the driver, what does he do? Like, question I had for myself. What does he do? Got to answer that question. Oh, he's a stunt driver. Oh, okay. Because, you can't be that great of a driver and not have some type of a day job where you also drive or do something like you're trying to be. Then to find out he also wants to do stock car racing. Cool. All of that makes sense. Falls in line with the driving. But the quiet silentness in blood red I have, because I have a red like I'm a 4th grade teacher, right? Creepy like a murderer.
Yeah.
Circles it just in case he murders somebody. It's right here, just in case he murders somebody.
Yep. Well, and of course.
There was nothing in the movie alluding to him murdering anyone at that point. Like
That's
my
true.
question is, what got you on that? Like,
the
because
fucking grocery store scene.
Yeah, where he's on the other side of the aisle listening to them.
Right, and that's what at first I'm like, okay, he just doesn't want them to see him, but he stops right. Bloop, bloop.
let me listen, baby.
Bro, what are you doing? But listen, in 2021, if I worked or if I knew someone who worked at a Smart and Final or a grocery store, I would instruct them that if you see someone stop and you see them eavesdropping on a conversation, that is a murderer of some sort, or they're going to do something illegal. Report that person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, unless it's me, I probably have on a headphone that you don't see. And okay, never mind. Give people the benefit of the doubt.
You got them earpods, man. Earpods, come on.
I just thought about that. Like, wait, at the wrong angle, you will not see an AirPod. Hold on.
There'd be no flirting if he was ugly. That's for sure.
What flirting? You gotta talk to people to flirt. Well, you know what?
Well, I'm sorry.
Not gonna do that.
Creepy gazing.
Super creepy gazing.
It's either Eisen, what do you call it? Oscar Eisen or Ryan Gosling.
Oh,
Oscar Isaac looks like Eric, my friend. In this movie,
yeah,
he looks exactly like my friend Eric.
Fair enough.
You know, honestly, maybe he would have been more alluring as a character if he had like his fucking pole dammer fluff.
Yeah. The buzz cut was a little much, but he just got out of prison, so
he was getting that apocalypse look in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look as if he like it looked like he looked like, okay, yeah, he just came home from prison, but he didn't look like the guy they were trying to make him.
Mm-hmm.
That was, if that's one thing I can say, everybody kind of fit their role, look wise, like the aesthetic of who this person is, and the only thing that he looked like is the guy who committed a crime and got killed. That part he fit.
And it foreshadowed that for sure.
For sure. Oh, for sure. 1000%. Like we all knew that was coming immediately.
He got it fucked up than anybody else in that. No, the red hair chick got it.
I was say the redhead chick lost her whole head.
That was funny to me. That's fucked up to say, but that was entertaining.
Well, the guy in the elevator got it pretty bad too.
Cursed.
Yeah, he literally got his head stomped through.
Yeah, there was a lot of head splatter, huh?
Yeah. But that's why I like Nicolas Winding Refn. I like his movies because they are very violent, but they're not violent in the way that you expect them to be violent. It's like just all of the sudden, and then you just got somebody's heads getting blown off, or somebody's arms getting slit down long ways. Man,
that was crazy. So I get you, and with that, I'm not gonna lie. The arm slit made me reference all of the murders or killings to a Tarantino film, right?
Yeah,
but it's like the calm version of a Tarantino film. Like, oh no, shh. We're gonna kill you very gruesomely, but we don't want to make too much noise when we do it.
Yeah. It's very I think he's Danish, so that's probably where you get it.
Oh, I like that.
So,
very,
like that
high class
Scandinavian. Yeah.
It's either I'm gonna pillage you and rip out your intestine, or they're not gonna know until the dogs find you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like it. I like it a lot. What's that other movie here?
You guys have any things that you wanted to point out in particular? Any things that stood out to you?
Man, I know for me that creepiness was like number one. I wanted to make sure we referenced that, so I'm glad we got that out of the way. So before she goes, my husband's coming home in a week. Does anybody remember Irene, who I'm mad that we had to learn her name through Shannon? Does anybody else remember Irene saying "I married," or was it just, oh no, that's just Benicio's dad?
Yeah, she did say it roundabout, like that's her father. She made it seem like that was just a baby daddy.
Man, I was like, when she said, "Oh, that was my husband's lawyer. He'll be home in a week." What? You're
yeah,
and you can tell, like, it's fucked up because I think some of us. Well, I mean, we can all relate in some shape or form. I mean, not that scenario particularly, but it's one of those things like, oh, fuck, I'm really digging you, but fuck, But him just to endure that shit, it was like he was hurt. You can tell he was like, man, fuck.
Man, listen, whatever lifestyle he led before the 5 years he's been in Los Angeles, he knew not to get involved with her. It had nothing to do with her lifestyle, her being married. His lifestyle and her life should never have come in. Listen. Okay, Linda, listen, honey, listen. Her situation looked messed up from a distance. And he took his old hound dog ass over there snitching around a dead body. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, he could have stayed out of that whole thing.
He smelled trouble. He went for trouble. I'm not blaming her for nothing. It was all him.
Yeah. What makes him so confident too, by the way?
Douchebaggery.
Is it? Yeah, because like there's nothing to suggest that like he should be like standing down mob members. You know what I mean? Like
just a douchebag that's been getting away with it for a long time. No, I agree with that though. I was very curious, and that's what I meant when I said there's no backstory. Like, okay, you're a driver, and I understand being a great driver and a stunt driver and a stock car driver takes nerves of steel. Granted, I don't think any of us are arguing that. You don't do guns, but you're very handy with murder.
But he did do gun. He did do.
I mean, he was very equipped. Right, he was very knowledgeable about how to utilize that weapon. I also didn't like how you charge the guy that has a shotgun and you pull the weapon down towards your thigh. Yeah, that's a good way to become handicapped and die.
Well, it's just one of those logics where you see them swords masters. They be like, man, what the fuck? That makes no sense if you actually see a sword fight.
That's true.
And, yeah, just it's a shotgun, but he pulls that trigger. The spread is gonna get you.
And you know what that is? I think that's probably the weakest part of the film is that they made no sense as to why anybody needed to get murdered. The money could have just gone to the place it needed to go, and that would have been fine.
Well, that was slightly. I caught that. I caught how that made sense. So when Benny is explaining to Shannon, when he goes in and he's talking to Shannon, and he's like the job. When this is after Benny's found out about whose job it was and what, because after Driver goes to Shannon, Shannon calls Benny, thinking like, oh, Benny's my boy. Was it Benny or Bernie?
Bernie,
my bad. Thinking like this registers too. Thinking, Bernie's my guy. If anything's wrong, he'll look out. And come to find out, it's Nino's situation. Like Nino was fucking up because Nino was trying to get his situation better. So he found out somebody was coming from the East Coast, family member, mob. And this person was a junkie, drug addict. Nobody was really backing him, but he's still family. So that's why he wasn't supposed to be robbing.
Right. But I think where my hesitation comes from is that Nino didn't have to hire the second car. Because who were they going to deliver the money to? The guy that worked for Nino.
Right. Exactly. So, right. Nino didn't have that part was stupid. And so that's so where Bernie,
he was going to get his money anyways.
Right. It was a typical Grand Theft Auto Vice City fuck up story.
For real. So the way Bernie made it make sense was when he's talking to Shannon and Shannon's like, look, the kid tried to make it right and return the money. He's like, I understand, but it's too late for that. And then he's like, well, he tried to just set it right with the guy. And it's like, well, he also chose the wrong person for that. Basically, the reason everybody had to die isn't because they had to die. It's because Nino's a fuck up. No, because Nino let the shit out. And if anybody else knew, then they were both going to have to go down. So it wasn't that they had to die initially because of what happened. They had to die because Nino's a fuck up. And he's protected. So you can't kill him. You got to kill everybody else.
And the driver just went at it because he was trying to protect homegirl. Going back to what you were saying, like we don't know your history. You might have this pedophilia thing or this stalker shit. You trying to adopt the family, dude.
Right.
And
the kid's a mute like him. Not to cut you off, I apologize for that. But the kid was also a mute like him. Throw that in there. Go ahead.
That kid got left alone quite a bit in that movie.
No,
That is
there was
a
a
great
babysitter there.
catch.
There was a
There was a
babysitter there.
babysitter the one time, but
That
but
one
I
time.
get what he's saying. That is actually a very great catch, and now I'm gonna retract what I said about the kid being a mute. Damn, that's a great catch. That's some social trauma for your ass. Go for it.
And my wife pointed that shit out. Like, he's not left. You got a babysitter. I'm like, oh no, this kid isn't left there
It was
quite a
just that
bit.
one time, yeah,
One
it was
time.
just that one time. Yeah, and she
Um,
smiled too hard at Driver, but yeah.
fuck man, I forgot my train of thought. That's all right.
Well, so once we get through everything and you have her and they're arguing though, so we know how why they had to die now, right? Like Nino's a fuck up.
Yeah,
And Nino
I think
other,
that yeah.
My business is like cutting the loose ends. Is that what they call it? Tying up the loose ends.
Yeah.
Because even Nino's guy had to die. Like he was the first one to go, and it was like, all right, well, that's why he said like now you gotta cling up behind me for once because he had to take his guy out because he knows the situation. So I'm not saying that morally they had to die. Morally, I'm with you. Nobody had to die.
Nobody. It was a simple fucking fix.
Right. Once we realized this is a mob movie. Yeah, this is a mob movie. It's got to be a bunch of murder. What do you mean? We were like in the last 20 minutes.
I mean, I'm like,
sure,
mobster.
That is true.
Shit. Here, take the fucking money. Forget it. We don't know you. All right, dude, but we still have to do business with you because your boy owes me money.
Well, and
just forget it all happened.
But they try to use the excuse like, oh, they know who we are. But the driver didn't know it was Nino until after they found out about Cook.
Right.
They thought Cook
Standard
was
didn't know
the person
nobody
that did. Yeah. Nobody knew that Nino was behind this until after Cook. So it's like you could have just taken the money. Because it wasn't about the money. Nobody would have connected it to Nino because they would have never known Nino was a part of it except for Cook, and then Nino could have killed Cook.
Hell, he could have driver could have killed Cook, and Nino never would have known who took his money.
That's true.
And I think the fucked up thing is when he sent Homeboy is one of his hit dogs after the chick.
Yeah, because that's where he was. Yeah. That was the like, oh, bruh, you messed up. You messed up.
I kept thinking of that elevator. I'm like, how long did time stop or something? What's going on?
You know what?
It was 6 floors or 4 floors.
That scene was really great. Like from that kiss to the lighting, and it just swap. Fuck it. All his innocence just went there. Boom.
Right.
Cursed on the boy's head.
Yeah.
And you can
see. Yeah, it made sense too because it's like he wanted to kiss her before she found out who he was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What I think is dope about that one little moment, right? That moment can define this entire movie. Look at that, right on Pew. That moment can define this entire movie. Like the soft, quiet, I'm going to pull you aside, give you a subtle kiss, to the look up, the reaction, the murder, and then her backing out and her terror. Like that can define this entire movie. I loved that scene. And then that look on his face of like, well, now you see who I am for real, but fuck.
He's like, I'm gonna get this because your husband's finally dead.
Yeah. And if I'm being honest, I also enjoyed that they didn't make this a classic love story where at the end the guy gets the girl and they walk off into the sunset. Like, no, at the end, she's kind of irritated and mad that he just up and left. And he's just on with his life, being
bleeding out as he drives away.
Right.
Well, he has to, and I think that kiss just kind of summed everything up. Like, you know what? I can't do what I really wanted, and I wanted this life I can supposedly imagine. And he's like, you know what? This is it. Because his whole objective after that was just making sure nobody else was around to know anything of her and her son to protect them. And he like the best thing for him is to go, because just in case the rest of the family know, just be him. Which is interesting enough. This is why I don't want to see the sequel. I do not want to see the book turned into it, because the book basically takes off to where he goes next. And some of the family comes in to, try to off him after what he did in LA. Oh,
there is a drive too?
Yeah, book-wise, and it's stupid. He ends up falling in love. He has a kid, and he's about to get married, and they catch up with him. And
watch Only God Forgives, and then you can just make it an unofficial sequel. because it's literally the same dude. It's Ryan Gosling playing the same type of character in Thailand.
Hey, does he have a scorpion jacket in that movie too?
I think he might have something similar to the scorpion jacket. I don't know if he is wearing the scorpion jacket.
The scorpion jacket would have orange stains all over it by then. I mean, I'm sure he washed it, but it would be orange stains. They wouldn't be red.
Right.
It would be orange.
You know, I don't know if this is like entirely true, but this is just something I assumed, and I was telling my wife when we watched it. I said, I don't remember. There's no indication of a scorpion thing in the books or anything. And I think that it was something he wanted. And she was like, why you say that? I'm like, the dude's a Scorpio. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then you have the allegory of the scorpion and the frog that he tells to.
I thought that it was more about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is the scorpion asks the frog for a lift across the river, and the frog says no because you'll sting me. Scorpion says, no, I won't. I promise. Just give me a lift. And frog says, okay. Takes him. As soon as they're halfway across the river, Scorpion stings the frog. Frog says, why did you sting me? Scorpion says, because I'm a scorpion.
I'm a scorpion. Right.
So
that's what I do, man.
Yeah, I think.
Also,
I think that's a pretty good metaphor.
Right. Keep in mind, the legend of that story is that both of them die.
Mm-hmm.
But a scorpion's gonna do what a scorpion's gonna do to nobody else's benefit, and that's the whole point of the story. It's like the scorpion doesn't care if it dies; it just cares that it killed you while it was at it. It had fun. This ship's going down, and I'm gonna party while I do it.
Yeah, you're making me nervous. I'm a fucking fish married to a scorpion.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh gosh. But no, man. So in the movie though, I absolutely enjoyed how they were able to take again that silent mysteriousness, turn it into an actual story that somehow was portrayed. Everybody got the exact same story because it was so well laid out for you. What doesn't make sense to me is the ending. Why didn't you give the money to the girl? Why didn't you take some of the money? Something like, and who are you to where you can literally just keep because clearly, okay, you keep hopping around town to town to town and doing all these things. And he only looks like he's like 26. So also explain that to me. Right. But you know, it's like, where are you getting this will to live? Because you weren't worried about the money when you came to work for Shannon as well. According to Shannon, money wasn't his objective. Now you got.
I thought he was gonna die.
I for sure thought he was gonna die. I thought he was going on a suicide mission.
Well, I just thought that long shot where he's sitting in the car with his eyes open. I thought for a moment you see like the life go away from his eyes, and then all of a sudden the music turns back on, and he like,
blinks.
Yeah,
and the devil was like, "No, sir,
you're not coming down here."
Fuck that.
Oh, Mara says it's because the girl didn't want the money. Which you're right.
She did smack him. She did smack him. She's stupid for that, but
like, bitch, my husband died. He got his fucking brains blown out.
I mean, but if her husband came home with the money, she would have took it.
Most likely.
So take the money. Call it an insurance policy. I bet you didn't have insurance.
Shit, you wouldn't be working at Denny's.
I bet you didn't have insurance. That's all I'm saying.
Denny's by the jail.
This was also right by the jail. Now keep in mind also, this is 2011. This was way before the insurance and education of generational wealth started running around. So you know damn well Standard. I was gonna call him Sandor Clegane. I don't know why that was stuck in my head, but Standard Gabrielle and his wife Irene Gabrielle and little Benicio did not have an insurance policy on their ex-con Standard. That's all I'm saying. Even though she was also looking for the deluxe, but she never got that. But that's another.
They could have
the deluxe.
Yeah, that was corny but funny joke. Yeah,
that was just a stupid story. I'm like,
corny but funny.
You're easy.
No. Can we talk about the real problem in that part? Well, I guess it's a problem now. I don't know if it was a problem in 2011. Clearly, it was no issue in 2011. But she was 17.
Oh
yeah.
Was she easy or was she a child?
Well, he was 19, so I guess there's a gray area.
Okay, so you did hear it. That was my question: is did anybody catch how old he was at the time? Because I never caught that.
You
Yeah,
know,
he said he was 19.
Okay, so never mind. I'll take that back.
my thing is, as long as you're happy, you're happy. If you want to do somebody 20 years older or 10 years, maybe 5 years, good for you. As long as you're happy, you know what you're doing. 2, 3 years, whatever. But you know.
Oh, you know, it wasn't the 2-3 years part. It was the California legal
Right. Yeah.
laws.
Hey, like Nick said, he went to do the director's Danish. He's like, just put that in there.
Yeah.
Look,
make it a little tiny bit less creepy,
right?
Just a little bit.
You could have just look. I want to say you could have just wrote it instead. They were in Georgia instead of California, and what are the laws down there? Like, just go somewhere because
they're kissing cousins.
No. Just find out where legally we question it, and then we go and look at the laws and be like, damn, they did their homework.
Right.
That's crazy. I'm sorry, it's crazy. They labeled this movie as a neo-noir action drama crime film.
Excuse me.
It's definitely neo-noir for sure. And yeah, I mean,
neo-noir.
Yeah, I guess actually that's pretty.
There aren't very. I don't know what else you would consider neo-noir. Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm
Brick.
like. Wait, there's Brick.
Joseph
Really?
Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, that's considered like a neo-noir. And there's a couple other ones.
What is Brick? Does he sell dope in that?
No, I forget what the hell the premise of it is. That's an old one, right?
Yeah, I've seen that movie. I'm like, that sounds so familiar. Then I'm just like, I fucking forgot that movie. To tell you the truth, interesting enough, I seen that movie the same time I seen this movie. It was because after seeing 50-50, I think little Mike, he was like, you got to see Brick. And I'm like, he comes over one night. We watch it. I was just like,
2005.
I don't want to watch this again.
Right in that sweet spot.
He said, I don't want to watch this again.
It's the same. That movie made me feel the same way. I watch. A lot of people love Donnie Darko, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that again either.
Oh, is that like the spin-off of that?
No, it's something else. This Donnie Darko bugged me. It's kind of freaky at the end, but that movie just
at the
bugged
end.
me.
It's a freaky movie.
Jake Gyllenhaal bugs me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about him. He's a great actor, but he just bugs me.
That movie, I don't know. That movie was just. That movie was interesting. It was interesting, but for some reason that movie.
Oh, but people hype it up so much.
I don't know why.
It's one of those where everybody's like, "Oh, I'm edgy. I like Donnie Darko." You just hear that meme. All around me are familiar faces.
Oh my god, dude!
I am glad to say, as much as I have always wanted to be in on the Donnie Darko craze, never seen it.
Nah, it's not necessary.
Watch it. I mean, once is enough for me, dude. It's
too much. Is it okay? If you had to list it or put it on a level of crazy movies, right? Like movies that are crazy, is that crazier than Fear of Loathing in Las Vegas?
I have not finished that movie yet. Oh. I've read the book, but I have not finished that movie.
It's a different type of crazy. Fear and Loathing's a little bit more
entertaining, like fun. Yeah.
It's a little bit more palatable. Donnie Darko is like a cult film. Like it's not very good production. It's not very good, but people really loved it, so it just became a thing.
Like Skull and Bones, kind of.
Like The Room, like Tommy Wiseau.
I'll watch The Artist any day than watch The fucking Room.
Oh, Disaster Artist.
Yeah, I'd rather watch that shit.
Well, yeah, because it's actually funny.
Yeah,
The Room's
Disaster
not Artist is Russell Brand, though.
Disaster Artist is James Franco, and he plays
Tom. And his brother Dave, James and Dave.
Look, I just remember long black hair. Look at me.
Oh my god! Fuck those movies.
Oh, hi, doggy.
I'm surprised. Honestly, this whole movie, I'm surprised they didn't. You know what? I think the director knew not to push the fucking sequel because surprisingly, this movie budget was a $15 million movie, and it made more than what it was supposed to shit out. It made $81.4 million.
Okay,
that's pretty darn good for a small budget film.
So yeah,
I mean, so small budget they limited the words.
Yeah, they did.
Well, the book is very thin. I checked it out. I went through it.
But
after this, I went through.
I think that the director is like made a deal with Ryan Gosling. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'll pay you by word. I'll pay you $10,000 a word."
Tell you the truth, because after watching this movie again, I did go through the book. I read the book for the first one, and reading the book, it was more description than fucking dialogue from this character.
Mhm.
So that and like going into finding out that the script was like 30 pages long, I was like, wow. So it's the book. If you ever guys, well, don't read it. The movie is, in my opinion, more superior. But off the back, this character sincerely did not have a lot of dialogue from the book to the movie.
30
It's like
pages. Wow.
fucking spot
Mhm.
on. Just fucking descriptions. And that elevator scene in the book was it was good.
Yeah, I
And
could.
I wanted some animal style fries afterwards.
No, I could definitely understand that. The way you're just explaining that from the movie to the book. Everything was paying attention to the detail around the driver and the details that he was paying attention to as well. Because there were a few things that he missed, but they weren't significant clearly to what needed to be done.
And he amplified it, which was great. And it was great. I mean, that's what I love. For me, because I do some writing, it's inspiration because I'm like, you know, if you're not going to have dialogue, which I think certain things don't need to have like a fucking mountain of dialogue, have the description to describe the beat of storytelling to it.
Mhm.
And I think that was just beautiful with the mix of cinematography and even more so with lighting. I was like,
Yeah, the lighting is off the chain.
yeah,
It's really good.
and
I
he
love
does
the
it,
soaking in neon and all
dude.
the
And
lights and stuff.
and like you said, that the 6 songs, I think the 6 songs are just fucking perfect for each mood of telling
Mhm.
that story without the dialogue too.
Yep.
Especially when they're having the transition from when they're having that what do you call it, other Oscar Isaac's character coming out of jail and they're having that party,
Mhm.
and how that mute like that becomes the music of the party to what he's dealing with, kind of being
Mhm.
heard and like, fuck, I
Mm.
I don't sleep, I don't eat, I do nothing but think of you, and he's just like, boom. I was like, that's dope.
And that's a really great creative way to tell a story without having to actually have two characters talk about the thing that you're trying to show the audience.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you can have a piece of music that lyrics tell the story of what you're trying to get across, and then you just have panning shots of both of the characters separately. I mean, it's really creative ways of storytelling, and that's what I think Winding Refn does really well. He also did. I haven't seen this movie, but I keep hearing that it's like fantastic. But it's called Valhalla Rising, and it's Mads Mikkelsen, and he plays like some like early human in Scandinavia, like Viking country, and it's supposed to be really good. But it's also one of those that's like pretty silent as well. But yeah, just all of the storytelling via creative ways.
Right. No, yeah, I think that's the best way to describe this movie, is that it was just done perfectly from every aspect. I think the writing, the acting, the directing. I don't think we've said all of the praises.
Yeah,
And to tell you what though, that cast, even though like majority of them, well, a handful of them, almost the whole cast, are basically hard hitters in my opinion. And I'm like, those dudes probably cost money. But doing some of the research in some of these movies, when a lot of these actors come to liking of these scripts or the concept of shit, they're just like, give me this and I'm on board. Because I'm like, dude, looking at the numbers, 15 million for this whole movie for Ryan Gosling, fucking Ron Perlman,
Bryan
Cranston, come on,
Oscar Isaac,
fucking Lord Zed.
I'm pretty sure somebody just walked in and was like, "Looks like this is a good movie. We should all do it."
Got my Herbert going on over here.
Yeah, I'm just like that. That was my my weak Cleveland impression, but
yeah. So you guys got anything before we get to ratings? Anything else that we wanted to touch on? I think we covered a lot of it.
I should play something from my soundboard.
You gotta have it queued up already. For me, I think we've gotten through everything. I did not like his name being Standard Gabriel. but he died. So who am I not like a dead man's name? Um, other than that, I mean, again, I like the movie. There are a lot of things that I could definitely sit here and pick apart, but we've even discussed some of those, and they make a little more sense in context, honestly.
Yeah, and I think we have to. I think we have to mention too that this movie was huge when it came out.
Oh yeah,
and it was like an aesthetic icon. It was a music icon. I just remember like people just singing the praises of this movie when it came out. And so yeah, I mean, like, this is a big thing, and it is an homage to Los Angeles in a lot of ways.
That's cool because, interesting enough, a lot of people I heard talk about it, they kind of shitted on it, and beyond that, they try to compare it to Taxi Driver.
Well, it's not even the same thing.
Yeah,
just because two people drive in it.
Well, that's the beauty of that idiocracy. And interesting enough, I can't wait for my next pick, because with my next pick, I'm definitely want to touch bases on, like, if you guys want to do some comparison, because I was trying when a lot of people seen this movie for my next pick, I won't say it yet. A lot of people try to do comparison for it. I'm like, you can't do comparison for this movie and that movie.
Baby
if
Driver.
You want it, yeah, it's definitely gonna be Baby Driver, and they're like, because you hear the fucking word drive or driver,
right?
Just like Taxi Driver, it's like,
yeah, not the same.
You can say Baby Driver was inspired by this, but they are not the same movie. I'll
tell you guys this: when that threshold, we cross that threshold, we'll see. I definitely want to know you guys' opinion when we discuss that movie for sure.
For the record, right. If we were to cover that movie, I will not be calling him baby.
No.
Well, when you watch the movie, you'll probably like, oh, okay.
Just call him B Driver.
Right, just B Driver, because I can't call him BD either.
B Dry.
BD.
Oh,
I ain't got no baby daddies.
All right, let's get to ratings, guys.
All right,
sounds good. I'll definitely volunteer my rating first for this one. I liked it. I have do it. I liked it. I have absolutely no qualms. However, I cannot. Once again, I run into
give it a perfect score.
I cannot give it a perfect score.
Can't give it okay.
And I don't think I can give it too high above average. Which means, man, I want to go back and just lower the points on some of the things we've watched in the past. Mainly Eraser. Because that set the tone. But this will get a solid 8. Yeah, this will get a solid 8 from me. I want to give it an 8.5, but maybe after my second or third watch, I'll be like, yeah, I was tripping. I got to give it a 0.5. But for now, it's going to get a solid 8. And somewhat originality for following the storyline of the book. Execution. Like, that's what this movie gets all of its credit from me for, is for fucking executing, to me, everything they attempted. So a solid 8 for me.
Nice. Yeah. I think I'm going to go 8.5 on this one. Maybe even lean it towards a 9, although I might have to come back to it and give it a 9. Just depending, because I need to refresh my mind on this sort of window of cinema and film that we're talking about, because this definitely could stand in maybe a top 10 or 15 of that window, but I'd have to look back at it. So at this point right now, it's an 8.5. I love the direction. I love the cinematography. I love the no hand holding when it comes to the story. I really appreciate that. No exposition. Just tell a story with the camera, with the shots that you do, with the things in the background. And, and it's a great trip through Los Angeles, for anybody who hasn't been to Los Angeles. Like, you get to see a lot of the big, landmarks of, especially downtown Los Angeles. And so you get to see a lot of that. And I definitely liked it. So, 8.5. 8.5.
Sounds good.
I am not going to hold any punches. I'm just going to give it a perfect score. Not trying to throw any biasness or just favors. I'm just gonna give it a perfect score for the simple reason of, for me, it's inspiring. Um, it's in many words, it's a fucking love letter to a lot of things, from film in many genres. I mean, well, from most genres in film. It definitely it's a love letter to music. It's a love letter to cinematography. It's a love letter to a lot of things, and I really do appreciate that. And you know what? From reading the book and watching this movie for God knows how many times I watched this movie, you don't really get that where they take a book and just make it fucking explosive in a situation where it's explosive with flavor, and it's like, damn, that meal was good, in that sense of like, hey, I'm not a fucking nerdy Harry Potter fan where it's like, motherfucker, you took that scene out. No, they kept that scene from the book and just expanded on it and made it much more flavorful than what you was expecting. So for me, it's a perfect score. Straight up 10.
Nice. That's good. That's good. So we're at a 27. 27 out of. Oh, Keelan, you're muted.
Oh,
Keelan's
must be
muted.
fireworks.
Yeah. No, we can't hear you still.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, sorry about that.
So
No,
27.
if I'm to be totally honest on what happens is sometimes I'm not paying attention and my foot hits my cord and I wiggle my microphone cable and I have to like tap it back in and reset.
A likely story.
Okay, no, it's not. It's broken. I need a new one. Jeez.
I'm just saying, as long as you're not doing what I do when I mute sometimes, it's just an explosive fart I don't want you guys to hear.
There you go. That's
you can just blame that on the
least
soundboard.
Yeah. Which so a 27 out of 30 gives us a 9 out of 10. Damn good score for a drive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really up there with Eternal Sunshine. And I think we're gonna have to make a list, but we're gonna have to make a leaderboard.
Definitely gonna have to do that.
Yeah, so that way we can have the top 10 rated films that we've done so far.
And somehow Eraser will still be up there, I guarantee.
No, it won't. No, it won't, because
I can help that.
I remember
a revisit. I'll be like, just join me on to it. I'll be like, you know what? Damn, that shit was bad.
Eraser was only rated highly because it made both of us laugh hysterically at how corny it was.
Yeah.
So, we might have to put that in the corny category.
Then it was good. It hit the spot.
No, it was entertaining. Let's be clear.
We can put that in the. You can put that in. I forgot what you guys gave it all. You can put it. You can put it in the category with Happy Muppet Time Murder.
Oh yeah, Happy Time Murders. Oh yeah, there we go. We can differentiate between films and movies, like you were saying, Keelan.
Yeah.
So there you go. We can just put the two different categories: film and then movies, and that'll be where Eraser stays in the movie category.
Definitely. I might say I think we're going to surprise ourselves at how much we lack the art genre so far.
I know. Yeah.
No, we'll just watch The Room for that.
All the art.
or go watch The Fucking Artist.
There you go. Okay, you guys.
I'm gonna hold it to myself. I was about to say we could watch the Basquiat documentary on Netflix, but
geez,
or the Finding Banksy documentary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gents. You guys good to go? Good. All set. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, I mean, I like the movie. I am gonna watch this twice because I feel like I need to watch it twice to really appreciate it. But other than that, I mean, hey, it was a great pick, Dejan. I was a little irritated with you at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. I was really sitting here like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But it came full circle. And once I got out of my own head of like, why are they not talking? Like, because you supposed to be paying attention. It got really good.
Wait till you watch Baby Driver.
Oh God, I've actually seen Baby Driver, so it's all good.
Well, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of exploring for my pick in that window of cinema to see if we can get another movie like this.
And it's all freed up because we don't have Loki to deal with anymore on Wednesdays.
Yes. So wait, whose turn is it next? Is it yours, Keelan?
Yes.
Yours? Okay,
Yes,
so you're going to be taking Wednesday?
Yes,
All
I
right.
am. I am excited. Are you?
I don't know yet, but
we watching. What are we watching? We watching Black Panther.
There's a new.
I think he was doing
movie
an Arnold impression.
Oh, you were doing an Arnold?
What impression did you think that was? You've been talking about erasure for the last 5 minutes.
I'm sorry. We're gonna watch Kindergarten Cop.
Actually, that is the exact movie I was thinking about, but I don't know where to find it.
It's not a Tuma.
So awesome. That would be Tuma. That would be so awesome. But I don't know if I'll find Kindergarten Cop. I like how you read my mind there, though.
I would say, yeah, I'll try to help you with that because between that and True Lies, those are one of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some of my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You know, like Total Recall and Twins.
The last action hero.
The last, yes,
I have not seen those movies.
One of the best Schwarzenegger movies of all time.
Yeah, the last action hero was definitely an amazing movie.
And with Tywin Lannister, come on, as the bad guy.
I have not seen those movies because
really,
I haven't. Thinking about it, Jesus Christ, dude, it's like when people ask me, "You haven't seen Talladega Nights?" I'm like, "No."
You haven't seen Talladega
Nights? It's like, have you seen Dodgeball? I'm like,
do you not like Will Ferrell?
I love Will Ferrell.
John C. Reilly, what is your reason for not watching? Why have you not? No, play.
It's on Netflix now. I have no excuse. It's I haven't seen Dodgeball.
Woo!
Shake and bake.
There's a lot of movies I haven't seen. And this is gonna help me see more.
For sure. I'll try to pick something artsy for Sunday too. So we'll see.
Please not.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely pick it up for you guys out there who tune in. We appreciate you guys. And sorry if you guys feel like we need to pick up the art side. We do too, clearly, if you've been listening.
Yeah, we're a little bit giant corporation franchised out right now. So we're going to go into some of the smaller films that we appreciate from the past, and we hope that you take the journey with us. Coming up in the next couple weeks, we will be exploring some of our favorite films and giving you a trip through memory lane back to the golden era of cinema, at least in our modern time. So. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. We definitely enjoyed it. And we hope that you have a wonderful evening or any other time that you're listening to this. We have our own separate podcasts that if you want to check out, Keelan's got a podcast on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. If Numbers Could Talk. He's got a Facebook page and a YouTube page, 6 p.m. Tuesdays, If Numbers Could Talk. Be sure to check him out. Let's see, the mustard here, Dijon. He's streaming on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Strawberries and Coffee. He also has a YouTube page that he posts all of his live streams the next day on, Strawberries and Coffee. Please go check him out. Give him a subscription. Join him for his live streams. What's the name of the game that you're playing again, Dijon?
Testify against Christians. No, I'm just playing. Shadows of the Damned.
Shadows of the Damned. Yes. So he'll be back maybe this weekend, on Tuesday he'll be back playing Shadows of the Damned. I got a podcast Monday and Friday, Exofathom. It's on at 8 p.m. I have a Facebook page and a YouTube page. We are all on the Thinkering Talks page as well on Facebook. So if you want to catch all of our podcasts, please go check that out on Facebook, Thinkering Talks. You can find all of our podcasts there. But if you're a purist and just want to listen to us babble on about TVs and movies and critique things for which we have no credentials, thank you for taking this trip through the Screen Time Continuum with us. For Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
I am Keelan.
I am the mustard.
Good night, everyone.
I can't hold this face.
Drive safe out there.